Hey you guys, how to get your point across. Okay, so I just got a text message from a client who's having a challenge with this man that she's been seeing, right? So there's an issue with the phone, with phone usage, right? And I think this is a pretty common issue is, devices are intruding upon our relationship time, whatever the relationship may be. And it's not about the device, it's about boundaries and consciousness. So, and she said to me, she and I have been talking about this situation, and I've been coaching her around it, and she said to me today, I don't know how else to say it, right? So I know I've used that phrase, and you have likely used that phrase as well. I don't know how else to say it. So today I want to share with you how to get your point across. Okay? And it's basically adopting the belief of one of the 14 principles of success that I teach, which is the meaning of the communication is the response that you get. What does that mean? It means that successful people adopt the belief that if I want to get a point across to my audience, whoever my audience is, that it's my responsibility to communicate it in a way in which they can receive it and they understand my expectation. Does that make sense? So if they're not hearing me, there could be a couple of things going on there. Oh, the light. Hope you can see me. Okay. So if they're not hearing your communication, there can be a few things going on there. Okay? And so how do you communicate? How do you establish, this in particular is about a boundary. How do you establish a boundary or an expectation? First of all, you discuss the issue, right? In this case, we're spending time together. This is our time. I want to be present with you, and the phone is intruding, right? Like you're texting people. It's mostly text messages from other people on your phone. So like you're receiving text message, you're text messaging people, you're engaging in conversation while we're together. Okay? I don't appreciate that. Okay, so you establish that, and then you establish you discuss the issue, and then you establish the boundary. Okay, let's agree. Can we agree that when we are at dinner, right, when we are having a meal, our phones will not be around, okay? They will be away. Or can we agree that when we are in conversation or we're watching a movie together, whatever the situation is, that our phones will not intrude on our time, okay? Yes, get their agreement. Okay, so you've had the conversation, you've discussed the issue, and you've gotten the other person's agreement. Cool, okay. New scenario, you're out again, and they exhibit the behavior. Again, you remind them about the behavior, and then you say, remember, we had the conversation, and we agreed that we wouldn't do this. Okay? Okay, cool. Phone goes away. Excellent. Okay. So let's say that the behavior persists. Okay? So it keeps happening, right? And you keep having to have this conversation over and over and over again. So, right, the meaning of the communication is the response you get. So are you using language that is clear and definitive? Like the language I used. That's pretty clear. That's pretty definitive. You got the agreement of the other person. If it keeps happening, then you need to express a consequence. Okay? So, for example, if this, we agreed on there was going to be no phones in this kind of environment. Here we are again. You're texting, you're sending emails, text messages, what have you. If this continues, I'm just going to leave, right? Like we're going to end our date. We're going to end our outing. I'm going to go because this isn't working for me, right? So another example that's really straightforward is, a former coach of mine had zero tolerance for tardiness. So and I was in a group program with her, right? So and she established this boundary right away. And it was like, if you are late to a call, if you are more than 3 minutes late to a call, I'm not going to let you into the meeting. And you haven't you haven't let me know in advance because there is an unforeseen circumstance that you cannot avoid. I'm not letting you in to the meeting. And she enforced that boundary. I didn't have that issue, but I know that there were others who tried to get into the meeting after 3 minutes without clearing it with her first, and they missed the call. So, but back to the situation with the call, and for someone who is just not hearing you, okay? They're just not hearing you. You don't know how else to say it. Now, this isn't a boundary issue. This might be a values issue. This might be a compatibility issue, okay? So, is this person, right? And this is something that, cannot be, resolved on a live or via text message, right? Like, this is the kind of thing that my clients and I dive deep into, and we'll have conversations about this, right? So if you're having this conversation over and over and over again, and you have established that you're using clear and direct language, then is the person that you are communicating with, are they mature and conscious enough to provide you with the presence that you desire, and or are they capable of meeting your expectations? And that's something that you need to determine on your own, or with the help of a coach. And so I'm just trying to get it out of the light for you. So speaking of which, I have one spot available for one-on-one coaching. If you'd like to explore what that would look like, DM me and we can talk about that. So really quickly, I'm just looking at notes to see if there's anything else I wanted to say. I think that's it, right? So establish the boundary, talk about it, communicate the expectation, get agreement. If it's violated, remind them of the agreement. If it's violated again, discuss what the consequence will be, right? I'm going to leave the date. You're not getting into the meeting if you're late, right? What's the consequence? And then if it happens again, execute the consequence. And, if it keeps happening, then you need to explore whether or not this is the right relationship for you, situation for you, whether that be a friendship, an intimate relationship, or a business relationship. Okay? I hope this serves you. And let me know what questions you have. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video. And until then, I'll see you in the gap. I love you.